to Laughing in the Dark, the podcast where I hang out in haunted places with comedians. I'm your host, Sarah Jones. This is another fixture in our Minisode series where I talk to listeners just like you and hear your own personal ghost stories. For this Minisode, I got to speak to Scott in Austin, Texas. He told me about some hauntings that he encountered when he was back in school at Flagler College. Here's the call.
Hello, this is Scott.
Hi, Scott. This is Sarah calling from Laughing in the Dark. How are you?
Yes, hello. Good.
Awesome. All right. So wait, you are in Austin, Texas. Is that right?
I am.
Awesome. I used to live in Portland. That's where this show started. The other keep it weird city.
Is it really? I've never been out that way.
Yeah. No,
What?
They say keep it weird in Portland, but I think it started in Austin.
Oh, we like to think so. I've only been here since June, so.
Oh, really?
It's definitely weird. Yeah.
Where'd you move there from?
The last 5 years I've been in Washington, D.C., which
Oh, wow.
is weird in a different way.
Yeah, well, I'm sure. I'm sure that's a huge adjustment for you.
Yeah, no, it's in a good way. I love it here.
Good. Well,
It's a
awesome.
good decision to do, so.
Well, perfect. Where does your ghost story take place? Is it back in D.C.?
Nope, it's at my college, a little school named Flagler College in St. Augustine, Florida.
Oh, wow. You've been all over the place, huh?
Yeah. For 8 years, I also lived in Hilton Head, South Carolina.
Oh, my goodness.
So I needed to get warm again. That's why I decided to leave D.C.
I don't blame you for a second. I mean, I live in Los Angeles,
and
so.
Yeah, and today it's February 2nd, and it's 76 degrees outside, and I'm a tennis pro, so morning I was teaching today, and it was absolutely glorious. So.
Oh, that sounds great. That's awesome.
Yeah,
we had a high of 82 yesterday on February 1st. I wasn't complaining at all.
Yeah, not at all. That's awesome.
All right. Well, all right. Walk me through your ghost story. You're in college.
Okay, so it's 1978. I'm in college at Flagler College, which is a national historic site. It was a hotel for the rich and famous at the turn of the century. And right across the street is another one, kind of like a sister hotel, which is now a museum. And the other one they made into Flagler College. So all kinds of legends about the college and everything. If you could talk to other students and they would tell you, other students would have ghost stories too. But here's mine. I was in a second floor room. My roommate was also named Scott. We didn't really like each other. So it wasn't a good situation. So it got so bad that we rarely talked to each other. And I'm going off on tangents here, but let's go. So he and I don't talk to each other, but every time I walk in the room, and the room was a hotel, so the dormitory rooms are pretty nice. Right to the left of the door to walk in the room is a walk-in closet. And every time I walked in the room, the door to the closet was wide open. So finally I said something to him, and he said, well, I thought you were leaving it open. So we made a plan, and I know he stuck to it, to every time we left the room to close the door. And there was nothing wrong with the door or anything. It closed, and you could rattle it and it would stay closed. So he eventually got permission to move off campus. So now it's just me in this wonderful room. And it was still happening, and I know I closed it. Well, the really bad thing was it came to the ultimate, as it's a Friday or Saturday night. I leave my girlfriend downstairs in what's called the Rotunda at Flagler College, go up to my room real quick to get something, walk in the room, the door's wide open. I close my door to the room and lock it so nobody can pull any pranks on me while I'm in there. I close the room, the door to the closet, put a chair in front of it, walk about 10 to 12 feet away to use the bathroom. I leave, it's only me in there. I leave the bathroom door open. When I come out of the bathroom, not 2 or 3 minutes later, the door is wide open and the chair is still where I put it.
Oh, interesting.
So I didn't push the back of the chair under the doorknob or anything. I just put it right up against the thing, the floor, because I was mainly thinking it was just somehow always opening up.
Right.
So I figured, so I put a chair right in front of it. And when I came out, there's the chair. There's the closet door wide open and the chair exactly where it was. I completely freaked out, left the room, went downstairs to my girlfriend in the rotunda who saw me and, funny as it seems, says, "Are you okay? It looks like you saw a ghost."
Mm-hmm.
And she's part of the school too, so she's very familiar with all the legends of Flagler College. So I told her the story, and she kind of freaked out, and ended up spending the night in her room that night, which is tough at our school because there was no inter-dorm visitation. So I had to sneak down the hall to her room. And then there's even more to that story. So now I'm in this gigantic room on the second floor, which isn't the best place to be in this school because of no inter-dorm visitation, no alcohol on campus. And the resident assistant is right across the hall from me. Mm-hmm. So I have 2 friends on the lobby floor, which is much easier to do, things that you're not supposed to be doing. And they had a small room with 2 of them. So I asked them, "Do you want to trade?" "Sure." Oh, I'm all proud of myself. I helped them with all their stuff move all their stuff up to my room. They helped me move all my stuff down to their room. We're all 3 of us lounging out in my new room. And I get all full of myself. Okay. So I should tell you a story about the room that you're moved into now. Thinking I have the one up on them. I tell them the story. They don't freak out at all. Their whole response was suspicious. So then they look at each other and one of them, Mike, says, "Well, David, should we tell him our story?"
Oh no, that's what I was thinking.
And,
oh man.
And they actually saw something in their room.
Oh my God, what'd they see?
One of the guys was a teammate of mine on the tennis team with back issues, so he slept with a mattress on the floor where now his head can look into the bathroom if the bathroom door is open. They had a suite mate, and he woke up in the middle of the night and saw a turn of the century man in turn of the century clothes standing there looking at him. And again, there's in my 4 years, there's probably 5 to 10 seemingly very credible stories of such things, but they actually saw one. I never had any problem after I moved into the room. They never had any problem after they moved into my room. And part of the legend of this is there were 3 floors to the dorms on each side, men's side and women's side. They had started refurbishing the 3rd floor on the men's side. So the theory was allegedly that that's disturbing the spirits, and that's why there seems to be more activity in the school from, such things. One of the women at school that I was friendly with because we danced together, she had kind of the same thing I did, except, and, we called a poltergeist because they're supposed to be mischievous little things that, and she had this red dress that wherever she put it, it never was the same. And she lived alone, she lived in a room by herself as well. And because of the, pranks going on, she would always lock the door behind her like I did. She would put the red dress down somewhere across the chair or something, go into another part, go into the bathroom or leave the room for a little bit and not be able to find the red dress. And then the next day, next 2 days, whatever, find it exactly where she left it. Right. And that would repeatedly happen. And it would happen on a shorter term time. So Flagler College, and the whole legend of the school is it was built in, I think, 1900 or 1888, something like that. And again, for the rich and famous, so they kings and queens, prime ministers, that kind of clientele came to stay at the hotel. Most of the rooms had non-working fireplaces. Again, it was a hotel, and that's how you kept warm back then. In some of the fireplaces, they had little cherubs carved into the woodwork of the fireplace. If you had a fireplace and you had those in your fireplace, no matter what time of day, if you left the windows unshaded, it would look like the babies, the cherubs, the babies were crying. And allegedly, that was one of the rooms where they performed abortions.
Oh, so, weird. Wait, it would look like they were crying because of like shadows from the light?
Yeah, no matter what time of day, if you walked in your room with the cherubs carved into, carved into the fireplace, it looked like the babies were crying. And it was, and that was kind of freaky. Just that alone would kind of freak you out.
Right.
And this is not your typical college either. I mean, we had in the cafeteria, we had stained glass windows, which were done by Tiffany while he was an apprentice. The chairs that a college kid sat in to eat their meals back, and this is in the late 70s, was worth $16,000.
Oh my God.
We had a big courtyard, because there were antiques made by some special guy in the courtyard. Overlooking the courtyard, there were gargoyles, like gutters, and if it wasn't my freshman year, it was my sophomore year. Somebody thought it would be funny to take one of those off and put it in their room, and they got caught. Again, it's a National Historical Site. That gargoyle was worth $32,000 in 1978.
Oh my God!
So it wasn't your typical school, which was made sense of the probably harsher rules than most colleges.
Right.
And then the most harsh story was a woman that was in my class, and I think it was her freshman year. She kept seeing something in her room. She had a roommate. The roommate saw it once, I think. But it came to a boil one night where she totally freaked out. And again, this is the time when you had alarm clocks, not phones. She picked up her alarm clock and threw it at the wall where she saw the ghost. It smashed on the wall. She left that night, stayed in a hotel room, and never went back to her room. She had friends grab all her stuff, and she was permitted to move off campus. And
wait, because she saw what made her move off campus? She kept
seeing she had ghosts. She saw, and all the ghosts that were seen were always dressed in like 1900 garb.
Yeah.
And she kept seeing this ghost, and the one time it just really scared her, and she threw something. She threw an alarm clock at it. It smashed on the wall. The alarm clock smashed on the wall, and that was it for her. She moved off campus that night. But
she never said what the spirit did that scared her to make her throw the alarm clock.
Not that I remember. It was just and none of the stories were ever like aggressive ghosts or anything. They just
right.
They would and she moved off campus. Her roommate moved into another room, and the school closed that room. And for my 4 years, for the rest of my time there, it was never used again as a dorm.
Wow.
So I would be interested. I've always been interested to go back to the school and talk to kids that go there, or, and see if they know any of the stories or if there's anything more.
Oh, I'm sure.
And then
I'm sure.
The other legend of Flagler College is, as I said, there was another hotel built across the street from it, across King Street, that became a museum. There were tunnels that you couldn't get access to, but there were tunnels that led from Flagler College under the King Street and opened up over into the museum, which is known as the Alcazar. And allegedly that's where they snuck in hookers for, the rich and privileged people that stayed at Flagler College,
or booze during Prohibition.
It was, I think it was the name, Ponce de Leon Hotel.
Yeah.
That's, he's very prevalent there. That's where he found allegedly the Fountain of Youth in St. Augustine, Florida.
I don't know if I'm familiar, but.
So that was my little connection to that. And I had a good time at Flagler College. It was a good choice for me to go to, but it was also not your typical school because of the stories and all the goings on and legends of the school and even the whole town. And I've wanted to go back, and I'm sure they have ghost tours through the town, because I'm sure it didn't just happen at Flagler College too, because a lot of goings-ons went there. So I'm sure there's a lot of stories, but that was my little snippet of a ghost dormitory.
Yeah. Well, that's really cool. Honestly, like, you mentioned that none of the ghosts seem like they are aggressive. They almost seem like they're just regarding you guys being there. Like, they're kind of just standing there looking at you like, wait, what are they doing here?
Yeah, it was almost like there's something wrong. But, again, any story that I ever heard of people seeing something was never like aggressive or anything, or no talking or hearing anything. But most of the ones were, like I said, like with me, or my dancing partner who lost a dress all the time, and then the kids that totally discounted ghosts and stuff still would try to explain, well, okay, you dropped your gym bag in your room and your gym bag was gone for a day and a half, and then you found your gym bag. They would put it to their roommate, or and that might have been, we were college kids, so sure. And it might have, but there were a lot of other things probably that kids never mentioned because they just didn't believe in it. Do I believe in ghosts? Yes, especially after that. I did before that, but I certainly did after, because
it validated your thoughts.
There's no explanation for it other than what happened. Like I said, I locked the door behind me because, I was an outgoing member of the men's tennis team. We basically owned the school because we were the best athletic team in the school. So we were often a target for pranks and stuff. So I always and plus I was originally from New Jersey, so you just lock things. You lock doors behind you.
Thanks so much for your call, Scott. What a wild experience. I'd be interested to hear if more people who went to Flagler experienced some of the same things. If you have a great ghost story, we want to hear from you. Email us at litdarkpodcast@gmail.com and tell us all about your ghost story. We may want to feature you on the show. As always, thank you so much for listening. I'll see you next time right here on Laughing in the Dark. Laughing in the Dark is brought to you in part by Heck Yeah Studio. Heck Yeah Studio is a creative effort working with people to create meaningful things. At Heck Yeah Studio, they work with clients to turn their ideas or existing brands into real or better versions. Heck Yeah Studio is the place to go for custom illustration for a full range of branding services, like killer logos, great colors and typography, and fun illustrations for pins, signs, prints, shirts, vehicles, posters, or anything you can imagine. At Heck Yeah Studio, they work with love. Their dream client is someone who is passionate about what they do. At Laughing in the Dark, Heck Yeah Studio has designed our logo, all of our merch, and any posters or stickers that we have. I am so proud and lucky to work with such an awesome company, and I could not recommend them higher.
Carnival Studios.